Well, one of the most important things that has struck me over like the past 2 years, because of the kind of work I've been doing, is the fact that I don't feel like I'm an equal citizen in this country. Namely, because I'm always reminded of the fact that I'm a woman, and then I'm an Indian woman, and that I'm a middle class Indian woman. So these things are always reinforced in no matter what kind of work I do. If I say something, it goes into that context. I'm saying it as a woman, and I'm saying it as an Indian woman who's from a middle class background. So that kind of consciousness, I think it has been there, but now it is really, really apparent, because it's very difficult for me to relate to what really it means to me to be in this country, because I don't have role models. I don't know where I fit in, and sadly, I don't feel I have a voice, or the fact that I feel that I'm not participating. First of all, one of the things that really got me frustrated is the fact that as a child, and as a woman, you always, a woman's voice is not always heard. A female child's voice is always a voice that is always in the periphery. It's always in the background. It's always very silent compared to the boys in the family. And strangely enough, in my house, we've got 3 girls. But despite that, the overwhelming voice you would hear is my father's voice. And this has been reinforced throughout my life. But when I was a local councillor for the past 2 years, sitting among so many men, right, it was very daunting, because I've never been someone who's not confident in being able to express my opinions, but the fear that these people will never understand anything I'm really saying, because they just don't understand what it feels to have experiences as a woman. And as a woman who would have real concerns, as a woman who wants to be part of this whole process, that of the running of the district, the making of decisions, my voice, my opinion matters. But in that whole loud clamor, right, for everybody's voices being heard, right, I always felt that my voice was being muted. And I'm fairly decently educated. So why did I feel so insecure, and why did I feel that I never really had an avenue, despite being in a position where I can voice things out? It's because of the way people treated me there, the way the men treated me there. When every time you voiced something for a woman's concern, it's like, oh, here she goes talking about women again. I mean, we've gone through so much, we've got great landmarks, I think, in this country. As far as the women's rights movement is, I think we've done great, and I have so much admiration for all the kind of work that the women organizations do in this country, and I am actually a product of that. But to see it in real life and how it works in a local council setting, it's frightening. Here I am, fairly well educated, being able to voice my concerns. Then I go to the bottom, right? I go to my constituency, I talk to the women there. They have no idea. They have no way of saying what they feel like saying. They don't know how to ask for help. They don't have the kind of vocabulary that people will listen to them. They go to, for example, a counter asking for welfare. They get turned away because their bahasa is not good enough. Nobody wants to listen to an Indian woman clutching her plastic bag, standing there saying, I'm 60 years old, I'm from the estate, I don't have a house, and I'm renting a house, and I really need your help. Nobody listens to that voice. And it's so easy for people in power to forget about these voices. And that is frightening for me, because if it can happen to these women, it can happen to anybody. And they are one of the most marginalized in this society. And not to make the work that feminist organizations do in this country seem trivial, right? There's so much work they've done, and there's still so much to be done. And where is the government in this? Where is the government providing all these platforms for women? It's 50 years. There should be equal partnerships. In my local council, There were only 5 women councillors. And every time I raised that issue that we don't have enough representation of women in certain committees, in projects, the only thing the men would say is, yeah, but look at the number of local councillors here represented by men. There are more men than women, so, naturally you'll have more men. And I found that argument so disgusting, and I found that argument so very condescending. These are people who are sitting there in power with so much of impunity, just telling you, you don't matter. What you have to say, it does not matter. And whatever decisions we make, it's in your best interest, whether you like it or not. So that issue of not taking into account what these women mean and what their experiences mean is really, really very frustrating. And it deeply grieves me, And I really don't know if there are opportunities, there are platforms for women from very, very rural communities, from women I'm talking about all races, right? Plantation women, indigenous women, anybody, who does not, represent that majority, they're just going to be completely ignored. And that's frightening. And what kind of independence is that exists, Well, I think activism starts at a very personal level. Activism starts at a very personal level because, the personal is political. Where I stand, where my concerns are, what anything means to me starts from me, right? And that's how I relate to the entire universe, right? So when people say, I will get involved in this campaign because it resonates most with me, right? Within me. And I want to be part of this because this is how I would like to engage. Now, that given, right? We don't see many Malaysians coming and getting involved in the NGO movement. We don't, yeah. Because generally they're afraid, and they always think you're going to be arrested under ISA. They think it's very unsafe, it's very foolish because they think you're going to be arrested, This whole fear of being arrested is, I find, after some time, it's really something that's really planted by the state, okay? They put up this whole show of FRUs and all that. Why can't the state come up with a better way of dealing with these protests? Why can't they come up with a way that is more mature, politically more progressive in dealing with these issues, right? It's not the people, it's the fear the government has, in really facing movements that are growing, movements that are becoming stronger, and it's basically the government trying to stamp out that kind of consciousness that is coming up, and they would do anything, all right, to drive fear, into people, because fear keeps them powerful, right? So if young people are buying into that fear, well, there are plenty of reasons why they're doing that. But to say that NGOs are not doing things that will be able to, that will help people relate to the kind of work they do is not really true, because you can get involved in something as simple as a tree planting event. You can get involved in something as simple as helping maybe disadvantaged youth, maybe just going to a home or volunteering your time, Activism and giving back to society and caring for nature, all these things, there's so many levels of engagement, right? And it really is up to you. Are you ready to engage, right? Those are the kind of questions that people need to ask themselves. It's not about carrying a placard and screaming your heart out, though that is also an option, But it's really about your level of commitment. People think that, if I'm involved in NGO, there's no money in it, and how am I going to sustain my life and all that. It's not about that at all. Activism is very personal, It's very personal, and it's really up to you. Yeah, and it definitely starts at home. If you don't have it, you don't have a socially just and you don't have social justice embedded in the way a family is brought up, you won't have it in a society, you won't have it in a community, and you will not have it in a nation. We do training with children regardless of race in schools, right? And when we finish the training, right, these little kids come and salam our hands. And every time that happens, I'm always moved, because I think these kids really don't know the difference. These kids don't really care that you're Indian or you're a Martian or you're whatever, you know. The only thing that concerns them is, here's somebody who came to see us and we're supposed to respect this person. And yeah, it's something that we do. It's a natural thing, you know. Before we are racist, we actually thought to be respectful. Thank God for that, yeah. But the thing is, I'm so happy to be part of this country because of the diversity. You know, it's so beautiful, and we're so lucky. And if you're blind to the diversity and the beauty around us, there's no one else to blame but yourself. Yes, there's racism. Yes, it's horrible. Yes, it's debilitating. You get frustrated. You get angry because you are at the receiving end of that kind of horrible racism. But the thing is, you're also, you know, always reminded they're good people of all races, and they're good people who care, and they're good people who want to make a change, you know. And these are the people that are going to make that change, you know. And the more people we get on our side, the better it's going to be, the more powerful the movement is going to be. So yeah, I'm glad for the kind of diversity we have, and I'm glad for the stupid things the government is doing, because it's just going to win more people over to our side. And the more dumb things they do, the more racist things they do, I think the more people are going to reject, because it's just way too ridiculous way of treating anybody. And I think essentially we are good people. And I really believe in the goodness of humanity. And there's no way, right, an entire nation is going to subjugate itself to this form of racism for any longer. Yeah, it will change. And I think we're beginning to see those changes, and they're very positive. And yeah, I think I'm most grateful for the diversity. Yeah.